the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic. The North All-Americans against the South All-Americans. Hi everybody, Scott Garceau and Mark Dixon with you from Johnny Unitas Stadium on the campus of Towson University. College's future stars are here tonight. It's the best of the very
well-deserved attention. It's the culmination, really a celebration of outstanding high school lacrosse careers before they move over to the collegiate ranks.
North leads this series 4-2. Let's take a look at some of their impact players, Mark.
Well, when you talk about the North, the first player we're going to focus on is James Pannell. You recognize the name. His older brother Rob, an All-American at Cornell. James is headed to the University of Virginia. He's an outstanding attackman. He can also play some midfield. He's very diverse. We got your defensive players here too, folks. Don't worry. Bobby Duvniak. He's headed to Harvard University out of Manhasset High School. A big defender, 6'3", 215, an excellent cover defender with superior takeaway checks.
Well, the North leads the series, but the South won last year, and they've won 2 out of the last 3. How about their impact players?
Well, when you talk about all-star games, you have to have score. And Patrick Kelly out of Calvert Hall is amongst the best. 44 goals, 41 assists, incredible balance for the North Carolina-bound attackman. And then you have the University of Michigan, perhaps the biggest story in Division I lacrosse. Brendan Gahn is the first University of Michigan Under Armour All-American. He is a 6'4" attackman, an excellent scorer.
Well, let's meet a couple of the All-Americans. Joining us now is Booker Corrigan.
Joined here with Dan Marino and Deemer Class, 2 of the great players in the Under Armour game. Dan, you're the goaltender at Garden City, headed to play at University of Virginia. How do you get your defense to come together under such short notice tonight?
You know what, Book? I actually haven't really been doing a lot of the coming together aspect with my D guys. We've had 2 practices on Thursday, and we're playing with a lot of inhumane athletes out there. Bobby Duvniak, the Big Bear, and a few other of the boys and co. So, I mean, they've been talking and communicating real great, and I'm excited to play with them tonight.
And Deemer Class, you're headed to Duke University. You were a multi-sport athlete at Loyola Blakefield. How important is that going to be as you excel at the next level?
Yeah, playing football and basketball is definitely a big part of how I've gotten to be as an athlete today. Playing against a lot of great competition in the MIA conference, and it really helped my toughness and aggressiveness also. So it'll be huge going forward.
Scott, back to you.
11 states and Canada represented. Back with the face-off next.
High school lacrosse career. When the kid touches the ball, he scores goals. Say hello to Matt Rambo. Look at the spin move. As Rambo steps in, sticks it.
Awesome. That was a good time.
Matt Rambo is just taking over.
Having a historic year for the University of Maryland. Matt Rambo. ESPNU's coverage of the 2012 Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic is brought to you by Under Armour. This is your Armour. Beware of imposters. ESPNU's coverage of the 2012 Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic is brought to you by Under Armour. This is your Armour. Beware of imposters. And we're underway here at Towson University, Johnny Unitas Stadium. Scott Garceau, Mark Dixon with you. It's the North against the South. The North in the dark jerseys, the South with the first possession of the game. North leads the all-time series 4-2, but it's a different cast each year, right, Mark?
Yeah, it is, and this is a game for pride. These kids have had a lot of fun. A little tweak this year with the coaching staffs. You don't have current high school coaches. Instead, you have legends of the game. Jesse Hubbard, an All-American out of Princeton, is coaching up the North, and Ryan Boyle, also a Princeton Tiger, now an All-Star with the Boston Cannons. They will be matching wits and seeing who the smarter graduate of Princeton University is.
Princeton against Princeton. And not much time. They get a couple of practices with these guys. They're all talented players and try to put together a little bit of a team concept, but you just let them play, right, Mark?
Yeah, 2 practices. And they were both yesterday, Friday, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and searing heat.
105 degrees.
Here in Baltimore over the last couple of days. So you can imagine even those practices were cut a little short.
South with possession. Kind of looked over some of the scores over the years, and you know, you could have anywhere over 30 goals combined in this game, and I think the low might have been 21. I think there was a 12-9 game in there, so you're going to see that. There's your scores.
You can see when the South wins, it's typically close. The North has blown the South away as we have our first flag of the evening.
Ball still in possession for the South. They'll be mixing and matching lines throughout this game. Spencer Parks with it on the wing. He's headed for North Carolina. A heavy presence of future Tar Heels in this game. Shot sails wide, and now we'll have the penalty assessed.
There's Bobby Duvniak. We highlighted him in our open. This is a guy who's big, strong, and powerful, headed to Harvard University. And when you look at that Harvard defense now, Duvniak coming in as a freshman, 2 sophomores to be, Steven Chehelka, Brian Fisher. You have Jason Gonis as a senior. So a young but very talented Harvard defense in 2013.
Dan Marino between the pipes for the North. He's out of Garden City High School in New York, and he'll play his college lacrosse at Virginia. He'll be tested here, extra man for the South.
Looks like the South is just using the players that were on the field in that 6-on-6 set. No special man up unit.
Pretty goal right there. Spinning was Ryan Brown. From the ground, he puts it upstairs, and the South is on the board.
Ryan Brown is a scorer, plain and simple. The Calvert Hall graduate. Look at the stick fakes. Gets his defender just a bite ever so slightly to his right. Brown turns back and fakes low, shoots high. Marino gets caught guessing. Ryan Brown, a monster season for Calvert Hall. MIAA champions, He is headed to the Johns Hopkins University.
There's a lot of A's in there, no matter how you cut it.
Alphabet Conference.
So the extra man goal and the face-off win for the North. Jake Froccaro on the face-off win for the North.
You recognize that Froccaro name. His brother, Jeff, an All-American at Princeton right now, a tremendous player. Jake will also take his talents up north to Princeton University.
Just underway, Johnny Unitas Stadium on the campus of Towson University. Some heavy storms in the Baltimore, Washington area last night. The AT&T being played down at Congressional Country Club. No spectators allowed today. There were 35, 40 trees down. Some heavy storms came through this area last night, but today weather's been good so far.
Good if you like saunas.
Yeah, well, 90-something. There's
it's Jesse Hubbard.
Yep.
Being assisted by John Hess and Chris Massey. And those three, Hubbard, Hess, and Massey, used to strike fear into every coach back in the mid to late 90s at Princeton University. Led the Tigers to 3 straight national championships, 96, 97, 98. One of the most prolific trios in the history of college lacrosse.
And when Jesse left, he set school records for most goals in a single season and career goals.
And Ryan Boyle, his adversary tonight, was the one who came in with B.J. Prager and
picked up the mantle from those three and helped lead Princeton back to national championship prominence.
And Ryan won a national championship there too. South on the attack. They've got a 1-0 lead.
We're seeing some sloppy play, which is to be expected in an all-star game. 2 turnovers, I believe, for the South. We saw the North just throw it away. They have yet to get their first shot on goal.
What's tougher, offense or defense in this kind of a setting, Mark?
Take your pick.
Yeah.
Take your pick. Offense can be challenging because everybody wants to go to the goal. Everybody wants to make their mark. Everybody wants to score. Defensively, everybody wants to make that big home run check, pick up the nifty ground ball. I think goalies probably have it the toughest. They're going to see a lot of rubber tonight.
You're right.
In years past, last year Bobby Wardwell MVP, Steven Restivo a couple years back. Goalies have the opportunity to really step their game up in this contest.
North with a little longer possession here as they move the ball around a little bit. That shot over the top of the cage, backed up. North will maintain possession.
There you see the defense being applied by Evan Connell out of Calvert Hall. He'll be headed to North Carolina. The Tar Heels got 8 Under Armour All-Americans in this game.
It's West up on top, left-hand shot. On goal. And here comes the South, trying to add to a 1-0 lead.
Nice save. That was Alex Joyce. He's out of the Landon School. He'll stay in the D.C. area, headed to Georgetown University. Nice save. That was a nice shot. I believe it was Henry West that uncorked that. West is out of Darien High School in Darien, Connecticut. He's headed to Cornell.
And there's a shot and a score. Tony Britton. Check it at Spencer Parks. Local product here from St. Paul's School in the Baltimore area. Turned the corner and fired it home.
Nice stutter step. Gets his defender to commit. And again, Marino beaten high. St. Paul's challenging season this year. They went winless in the MIAA, 2 years removed from a conference championship. But Spencer Parks was the leader, was the catalyst. He too will be headed to North Carolina.
So Brown with the first, Parks with the second, and the South with an early 2-0 lead. First quarter, just a little over 9 minutes to play. Top 44 players in the country, 22 from the North, 22 from the South. Canada represented again this year in this game. Let's go down to the field and Booker Corrigan. Booker?
Yeah. Here with Spencer Parks, just logged on to www.istingcorners.com. How you feeling out there, Spence?
Pretty good, a little hot today.
Yeah, team coming together nicely, chemistry developing.
Yeah, the last 2 days, or the last day actually, when we were just practicing, we were just working on chemistry, playing the ball, playing fun, having some fun lacrosse out there, and I think that's what we're doing right now.
And did you ever think you were going to get coached by guys like this from the MLL?
Oh, no, I thought it was going to be coaches like it's been, but Coach Boyle and Coach Catalina and Coach Davis have been great. It's been a fun time under practice, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the game.
Scott, back up to you in the booth.
All right, and while we were down on the field, Devin Dwyer with a goal to make it 2-1.
Dwyer, just a nice move from behind the cage. Excuse me, that's Ardrey.
That's 9. Okay, I thought it was 6, Mark.
Ian Ardrey out of the Deerfield Academy. Ardrey with a slick move. Look at him just get separation with speed. Is able to step away from the check. Uses this new turf surface here in Towson with the high bouncer. Ardrey will stay up in the New England area. He will attend Harvard University. They could use some offensive punch. Having graduated Jeff Cohen, Kevin Vaughn, he'll fit in nicely for Coach Chris Wojcik.
North almost with a military look in those uniforms, right?
little Army.
Yeah.
Little change in the color scheme. I tell you, I was down. Under Armour does such a tremendous job with treating these athletes like rock stars, really. Yeah. And the gear that they get, the attention they get, just the first-class treatment. Last night, a banquet. Tim Strachan was the guest speaker. Really a tremendous weekend for these young student athletes.
A lot of people know Tim's story. DeMatha High School, terrific quarterback, and then was paralyzed and has really been an inspiration the way he's lived his life. Does some Maryland football announcing, and he spoke to the young men last night. Good battle for a ground ball here. Won by the South.
Slickness on display. Charlie Schneider comes up with the ground ball.
There's a tough double team. Playing some defense now. Pace is picking up a little, Mark.
It's cooled off considerably. Got here around 6 o'clock and it was sunny and warm. Now it's still warm, but a nice breeze coming through. The sun is setting here at Towson University.
Deemer Class with it on the wing. Played 3 sports at Loyola Blakefield here in the Baltimore area. Real good football player. He's headed to Duke.
When you talk about Duke, six straight national semifinal appearances. National champions in 2010. The midfield, they graduate the likes of Justin Turry, Rob Rotans. So Deemer Class will have an opportunity pretty quickly to make a mark in Durham.
Class taking a run here, goes to the left side. A little patience this time for the South. That's Bradley Lord with it. Some aggressive defense there, ball down, and here comes the North. South on top, 2-1, a little over 6 minutes to play, first quarter.
It was a nice takeaway check executed by Ryan Palasek. Palasek out of Rocky Point. You'll recognize the name. His older brother Tommy just graduated from Syracuse, and Ryan will head up north for Coach John Desko and become an Orange as well. Only representative in this year's game going to Syracuse.
That's unusual, right? Well, we got a shoelace undone there. Lace that up when you get a chance. That's Alex Joyce, goalie from Landon School.
Nice clear, corralled by Ryan Guitar. Guitar out of Garnet Valley High School in Pennsylvania. He'll head to Penn State. The Nittany Lions, many will argue, should have made the NCAA tournament this past spring. Coach Jeff Brambroni doing some nice things up in Happy Valley.
Coming back for seconds, Ryan Brown, who already has 1 goal. Couldn't tell if that was a save or the first one was off the pipe. Deep rebound, and he fired it back.
It's an all-star game. Give him a save.
Yeah, right. This is Lord behind the cage. See his quickness. Back to the left hand, and he scores. Well, saw the quickness from Bradley Lord, one of that pack from Conestoga High School in Pennsylvania. One of their 4 players from Conestoga here, Mark.
4 players. And look at these moves behind the goal. Remind you of anybody? I'm going to say it's a la Jimmy Bitter, the freshman for North Carolina. Look at Lord, change of direction, just a sliver of area to shoot, and he sticks it past Dan Marino. Lord will be headed to the University of Maryland to play for Coach John Tillman.
And nothing new for him scoring a goal this past season. 40 goals, 37 assists. That's lighting it up. There's another ground ball win. Here comes the South. Shot wide to the left side as Jake Mathai goes tumbling after the shot.
Walked by Mathai earlier, visiting down in the locker room area. You want to talk about a beast. 6'6", headed to the University of North Carolina.
You got 225 on that 6'6" too.
Big kid.
It's a 3-1 lead for the South. North with possession now as they'll try to clear. 4.5 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Our 2012 Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic from Johnny Unitas Stadium on the campus of Towson University. Up top, Froccaro. He's in trouble. Gets it back toward midfield where it's run down by Sam Linares.
Yeah, Linares will be headed to Hofstra University.
And a nice job there, Sammy Davis running through the defense and scoring. Sammy Davis, 20 goals, 10 assists and 27 ground balls this year. Played at the Governor's Academy in Pittsfield, Mass., and he's headed to Penn State where he'll study communications.
Sweet move. Sammy Davis, the candy man, delivering a beautiful run, shot on the run. Look at the speed that Davis and the separation that he got. He will be a welcome addition to the offensive core up at Penn State.
So the lead cut to 1. South back in possession. Marino in goal for the North. He'll be relieved in the second half. William Ryan, the other North goalie, and coach is saying they expect to play both guys about half the game. Nice swim move there. Kelton Black trying to get free, but here comes the North. And now they've got a chance to tie. From the wing, off the post, and a shot and a save and a penalty markers. No, that's not a penalty marker. That's the ball bouncing on the other side. Thought I saw a flag down.
Nice shot. That was Patrick Berkery.
He let it rip, didn't he?
Garden City High School. Garden City, the quote-unquote national champion in 2012 in high school lacrosse. I'm not a real big fan of that designation, national champion.
It's a poll, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a tournament. They beat all comers, but until you have a national tournament, I think it's tough to call anybody a national champion.
But if you're voted number 1, you'll
take
why
it.
not say it, right?
That's like the BCS.
Well, they're working on that. Lenars with a bouncer.
Berkery headed to the University of Pennsylvania, one of 3 Quakers in tonight's game.
Now, Mark, how long have most of these kids been committed? After sophomore year, some of them? Yeah.
The top players, your Duvniaks, and I don't mean top, these are guys that have been on the radar for a while, your Duvniaks, Case Mathias, players like that, probably since their sophomore year verbal, but most of them at least since at least day 1 of their junior year.
Nick Doctor, the pass sails wide.
It's a hot topic in college lacrosse, the current landscape, and a lot of people are calling for the NCAA to adjust the recruiting regulations.
ESPNU brings you the most elite high school football talent via The Opening. Country's top high school football players are put to the test through coaching, training, and competition at every position in this invite-only camp. Do these players have what it takes to get open? The Opening, July 6th through the 8th at 8 on ESPNU. Just over 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. The 2012 Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic with the South on top of the North 3-2.
Connor Reed right there found an opening and was able to clear the ball for the South. Reed is out of Gonzaga High School, headed to Johns Hopkins.
Loose ball scooped up. Here comes the North on the break, and the layup is good. And we're tied at 3. Defense turned into offense there, Mark. Led to an easy goal.
This play is made by Tommy Forsberg out of Elwood John Glenn in Huntington, New York. He's headed to the University of Maryland. Look at everybody fighting for this loose ball. Watch Forsberg. Just turns it on, puts it into another gear, and so unselfish. Drops the ball off to Nick Doctor out of Irondequoit High School, another future Penn Quaker. Great hustle, tremendous speed, and unselfishness in an all-star game.
So we're even at 3. North wins the face-off. They've got a chance for their first lead in the game.
I tell you, Forsberg is just what the Doctor ordered from Maryland. A very talented midfield core returning for John Tillman, John Haas, and Mike Chanenchuk, but they could use a burner like Forsberg, a guy who can run by defenders and create separation.
Yeah, you saw him run away from the pack there. Froccaro back to the weak side. Davis shot on goal and the save made by Alex Joyce. Oh, and then they get careless on the clear. Pass sails out of play. Possession to the north.
But there we get a good look at Alex Joyce, and a lot of head scratching. You talk about Georgetown over the last couple of years. Really have fallen off the radar. Didn't make the Big East postseason tournament this year. So a player like Joyce, you hope they can come in, give the Hoyas a shot in the arm and get back to elite status.
A two-time All-Metro pick in the D.C. area. He's also an All-Metro pick in hockey where they won a state championship.
It's what you're going to hear, I think, throughout the evening, Scott. Multi-sport athletes.
Absolutely.
You listening, parents? You listening, kids? You listening, coaches? Multi-sport athletes.
Yeah, you look down the roster, and we've got the bios on these kids, and most 2, 3, some even 4 sports.
Just stress that with the specialization that's harped on these days of playing only soccer or only baseball, only lacrosse. Play multiple sports.
So Sam Rohr's quickness there. Final seconds here of the quarter. There's 10 seconds left. Good first quarter, as you said. Started off, looked like a little sloppy, maybe a little nerves, feeling each other out. Now settled down a little bit.
You know, you work your way in. You've been sitting around all day waiting to play. Get a sweat going, get some rhythm going, and have some fun.
And they'll let it run out, it looks. That's going to do it. So the first quarter of the 2012 Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic is in the books. North and South are tied at 3 after 1. This is the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic. After 1, we're tied at 3. Here's some of the numbers after the first quarter.
Pretty close. When you look at everything, face-offs looks like the North controlling, and they control another one. But look at the turnovers. That's what you get. If this was a college game, I think we'd be looking at some pretty frantic head coaches, but on pace for 30, 28, 30
And as
turnovers.
we were looking at those stats, there was another
turnover.
As we said, just 2 practices yesterday. Got them together for a little workout in the morning, a quick luncheon, and then back for an afternoon workout. So Ryan Boyle coaching the South and Jesse Hubbard, head coach of the North. Not a lot you can teach in that period of time, but you got some special players here. They're all very good stars on their high school teams.
You just you kind of roll the ball out and let them play. Maybe an EMO play here, maybe a pick and pass play, but other than that, you just let them get out there.
Into some heavy traffic. That was Bradley Lord. Ground ball still not controlled. Lord got a stick on it, swimming out of traffic. Nice play there. And the pass in front, the score. Wow, Connor Reed set that up. Beautiful play, won the ground ball, and then made the great assist pass.
As we mentioned, Connor Reed headed to Johns Hopkins University. Look at the ground ball scrum. Towson, the pools are open this late. It's hot. Dish across the face of the goal to his future teammate at Homewood Field, Ryan Brown. And Brown knows what to do with it when he gets the ball on his stick, deposits it behind the goal. But nice athletic play by Connor Reed to get out of trouble.
Play of the game so far. That was a great ground ball. Fought through all that traffic. Here comes the North. There goes the North. Here comes the South.
Bounce passes might look cool, but they never get through.
Sam Rohr gets double teamed, ball down.
Heads up.
Some banging going on out there now. Ball still not controlled.
That's the interesting thing, Scott. We've done a number of these games, and the physical play that we've seen the last couple of years.
Competitors, they're playing, right? Scott Garcone, Mark Dixon with you. It's the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic from Johnny Unitas Stadium here on the campus of Towson University. 7th annual. North leads the series 4-2. Early second quarter with the South up a goal at 4-3. North in the dark jerseys. Conditioning an issue at all? Are there enough guys you're rotating through on a night like this? These guys are in pretty good shape.
Plenty of guys. Yeah. Plenty of guys to run, and they all want to run.
Here comes Lord again. He's been active. Lord's numbers, 40 goals, 37 assists on the season. Conestoga High School.
Physically, he just looks like Jimmy Bitter out of North Carolina. Just the way he carries his stick, carries his body. Fearless around the goal. Tremendous player.
Saw Sam Rohr up on top there, one of the smaller players in this game. He's got quickness too. He's listed at 5'6", 155 pounds. He's headed to Penn out of the Haverford School.
Joey Sankey. Joey Sankey, another small player, played in this game last year. Dynamite freshman season for North Carolina.
Nice play there. A little curl from behind the cage, but unable to finish was Brandon Gahn. Sometimes they slam the door on you.
Gahn, an interesting story out of California, and we'll head to the University of Michigan to play for John Paul and the Wolverines.
Save that time, the shot from Henry West.
Now we got a little end-to-end action going.
This is what the fans came to see. There's the cutter right out in front, and top shelf, the score. Kelton Black whistles it home, and it's a 5-3 lead.
Conestoga and Calvert Hall with 4 players each in this game. The transition is started by Miles Thomas. He's out of Conestoga. He'll head to Drexel University. The ball gets down to Bradley Lord, another Conestoga teammate. And then it's finished off by Kelton Black. All-Metro selection out of Calvert Hall High School. He will head to Johns Hopkins. So there you had Conestoga, Calvert Hall, Drexel, Maryland, Johns Hopkins. I think tonight will be the first and only time you'll hear a Maryland guy helping a Johns Hopkins guy out for the next 4 years.
We got a flag down. Let's go down to the field and join Booker Corrigan. Booker.
Down here with Bobby Duvniak. Bobby, you're headed to Harvard. Talk about what an honor it was to be selected as an Under Armour All-American here.
When I got asked for this, I was astonished. I've got an All-American, but nothing like playing with the top 44 kids in the country.
And you were a multi-sport athlete in high school. Talk about how important it is for kids today to not specialize and avoid the tendency to just play lacrosse.
I think you need to play every sport you can. I played football, basketball until my sophomore year, until I got hurt a little, but I still kept playing football in my senior year. I think it gives you toughness and other skill sets that you can't just learn in lacrosse, and you need to be playing as many sports as you can. And whenever I talk to little kids, I tell them to play as many sports as possible also.
Great to follow. Back around with what Mark Dixon was talking about earlier. Scott, back up to you in the booth.
Give him a little blow, Booker. He needs a little oxygen. He's playing hard out there. Bobby Duvniak, 4-time All-Long Island in lacrosse and also an all-county football player. So there you have it, multiple sports.
And who says that All-Star games are all about offense? Here we're going to see a little defensive magistry. Nice. Miles Thomas picks it off, walks the dog, and then gets it back to his goaltender. Brian Volker at Drexel getting a good one, but Duvniak, Scott, is a player who has been on the radar, if you will, for 3 years now. A 4-year starter at Manhasset, really just a man-child. Started getting the #1 assignment, the #1 cover assignment when he was a sophomore for Manhasset. When you look at Long Island and the competition that Manhasset plays in their class, I mean, that's a heady distinction as a sophomore to get those assignments, and again, headed to Harvard University.
How about 85 ground balls this year?
That's insane.
Yeah.
And that's not a long stick stat. That's not a guy taking wings on the face-offs for the most. That's a close defender. But Duvniak was versatile enough to play wherever Coach Bill Cherry put him.
Bradley Lord backs it up, comes up top. A little over 10 minutes to play, first half. South on top of the North, 5-3. South scored the first 2 goals in the game, but the North rallied, tied it at 3 after 1. The South has come out with second quarter goals from Ryan Brown and Kelton Black to jump up 5-3. Got a player injured here. Play on and get it in front and shoot and score. This is the one thing you hold your breath on in an all-star game, Mark, that everybody comes out of here healthy, and we got a player injured right now.
That's Berkery.
Grabbing his left knee, it looks like.
Yeah, Patrick Berkery. Here we're going to see the goal. That's Schneider, Charlie Schneider, wheeling his way out. Finds the man inside. That's number 20, Deemer Class out of Loyola Blakefield. But unfortunate that Berkery down with the injury.
9:56 to play in the half. 5-3, South leads the North. As Berkery gets some attention, there's Deemer Class. We'll take a timeout and return to Johnny Unitas Stadium right after this. South has scored 3 unanswered here in the second quarter. They lead the North 6-3.
Under Armour Excellence. These are the 2012 USILA Award winners, all former Under Armour All-Americans. The Enders Award, the National Player of the Year, Peter Baum. Turnbull, Attackman of the Year, Steele Stanwyck. The McLaughlin, your Midi of the Year, C.J. Costabile. Smizer, Defender. Tucker, Durkin, and the Kelly Award, your Goaltender of the Year, John Kemp of Notre Dame. So just a sampling, Scott, of the impact that these athletes have on the collegiate game.
Trail check there, knocks it loose. North has possession. So South, after the North scored a couple of goals to tie it at 3, they've run off 3 goals here in the second quarter to go up 6-3.
And you have to think that some of these players, we're looking at Dan Marino in goal here for the North. Rob Fortunato graduates for the University of Virginia. Marino will have an opportunity to start as a freshman. Duvniak probably will start as a freshman at Harvard. The list goes on and on and on. 8 of the 12 first-team All-Americans, Scott, 2012 in Division I men's lacrosse, former Under Armour All-Americans.
Yeah, these are the stars of the college game tomorrow that you're looking at here tonight. Pannell gives it up. That's Nick Doctor with it now. Trying to get inside. Nothing there. From the wing. Oh, that didn't work. Ran into a lot of traffic when he came inside.
That was Jake Froccaro.
Yeah. He dropped the shoulder and no daylight. Edmonds up top, runs into some traffic. Inside the left-hander.
The lefty Canadian,
Yeah.
Mikey Morris. You saw that Canadian little flick right there, catches it left in one sweeping motion. Read nicely by Alex Joyce, but a beautiful feed inside.
And he's headed to Hopkins, right?
Mikey Morris joining Zach Palmer, a fellow Canadian at Johns Hopkins. Brandon Ben, another Canuck, playing for Coach Dave Petramala. Sam Linares, as mentioned before, headed to Hofstra and Coach Seth Tierney in that always tough Colonial Athletic Association.
A timeout called as Deemer Class ran it upfield for the South. 7:42 to play in the quarter. 6-3 South on top of the North. We go down to the sidelines and Booker Corrigan.
Here with Patrick Berkery. Patrick, a little knee injury. I know you're headed to University of Pennsylvania. Tell us about what you felt here tonight.
I just tried to throw a check, and I think my cleat just got stuck in the ground and my knee popped out a little.
You think you're going to get back in the game tonight, or is this something that might take you out for the rest of the night?
I hope I can get back, but talking to the trainer, he doesn't think I should go back, so.
And we got a nice look at the new Under Armour cleat that they are debuting this weekend. Tell us about how you feel about them.
I like them. They're really comfortable. We got them a couple days ago, and I haven't had any problems with them. So usually new cleats you have a problem with. These I haven't had any problems with, so real comfortable.
Thanks, Patrick. I hope the knee feels much better. Thank you. Scott, back up to you in the booth.
All right, Booker, and our best wishes with Patrick that everything's okay with him. ESPNU brings you the most elite high school football talent via The Opening. The country's top high school football players are put to the test through coaching, training, and competition at every position in this invite-only camp. Do these players have what it takes to get open? The Opening, July 6th through the 8th at 8 on ESPNU. Do you have what it takes, Mark Dixon?
Do you have a pair of those shoes, is what I'm asking.
I do not.
I thought I saw you rolling up in a pair.
I think I saw somebody wearing those about 28 years ago in AWA wrestling. They look pretty good, though.
They look. Nick Bockwinkel, maybe?
Yeah, might have been him.
There we get a good look at the crowd, but yeah, to build on it, you hope Berkery's okay. You'd hate to see anybody go down with a significant injury. Really, they could use him at Pennsylvania. A disastrous season, if you will. Only 4 wins for the Quakers coming off of an NCAA tournament appearance. They certainly have some talent up there. Drew Belinsky and some other players coming back for the Penn Quakers, Max Meyer. So Berkery really could be a big part of that.
All right, here's your college commitments, and you see a lot of blue, Carolina blue at the top of the leaderboard there.
Carolina in 2013 will have 23 Under Armour All-Americans on their roster, yet they haven't made championship weekend since 1993. There you see the Virginia. Johns Hopkins, another team, 5 Under Armour All-Americans. Duke with 4, and then maybe some names that you wouldn't expect. Cornell, Penn, Harvard, 3 Ivy League schools really making aggressive recruiting efforts the last couple of years.
Aaron pass right there as Spencer Parks airmailed it. There's head coach Ryan Boyle. I think he's having fun doing this.
And also a colleague of ours made his debut this year as an ESPNU analyst. Did a really nice job. There we see Jesse Hubbard trying to figure out how to solve this South.
Jesse was joking. He said kids are pretty honest. One of the young kids said, Coach, I was at Princeton. He says, oh, nobody goes there anymore.
Well, let me tell you, back in
I guess that Under Armour All-American wasn't going there, but a lot of players still go to Princeton.
Yeah, well, the Princeton Tigers under Chris Bates made the NCAA tournament this past season, but they lose a lot, especially on the defensive end. Tyler Fiorito, the goaltender, John Cunningham, the long stick midi, and Chad Wiedmeyer, close defense. And there's a goal right there.
Henry West, Henry West on the run, fired it in. So the North stopped that 3-goal run by the South, their first goal here in the second quarter.
Yeah, West, a good-looking midfielder, 6 foot, 185 pounds out of Darien High School. He is going to Cornell. And you talk about a team that lost a lot of midfielders. Roy Lang graduates. J.J. Gilbane is gone. Mitch McMichael gone. So West should get an opportunity right away to play for Coach Ben DeLuca. And all reports say the Cornell Big Red will welcome back Rob Pannell next season, as he did not graduate from Cornell.
Pass right in front, shaking, bacon, and scoring. Some nice moves right on the doorstep. Gordy Kerber. Kerber from Gilman here in Baltimore. Played for Brooks Matthews and had a pretty good year. 32 goals, 7 assists, 19 ground balls.
You talked earlier about how long have these kids been committed, and Korber's a guy who did not commit until this time last year. He went to a recruiting event up at Harvard and was able to get on the radar of Coach Bill Tierney and the Denver Pioneers. So Gordy Kerber, an outstanding season for the Gilman School, 32 goals, 7 assists. He is a goal scorer, and he'll fit in nicely. You talk about a team that loses some attack. Alex Demopoulos, Mark Matthews for the Denver Pioneers, so he'll get an opportunity to play for Coach Bill Tierney.
Well, North scored that goal to stop the bleeding, and it took South about 10 seconds to come back and answer it. Left-hand shot on the cage, and it's a score. So the South, Kelton Black, that's 2 for him.
A lot of people will remember the name Black at Johns Hopkins. Dave Black, an All-American defender back in the early 80s. This is his son, Kelton. Smooth, efficient, great quickness. Look at the split dodge from right to left. A little bit of a lunge right there by the defender. But Black finds his way down the alley, sticks it high to high. A very talented midfielder headed to play for Dave Petromalo.
4-year varsity player, Kelton Black, 2-time captain for Brian Kelly at Calvert Hall.
Well, we saw in the girls' game, Scott, 25-13, the South tamed the North. And here we see the South doubling up the North in the boys' game, trying to make it a clean sweep. I don't know if we're going to have 25-13.
Yeah, in the girls' game, as you said, 25-13, and Taylor Cummings, 5 goals, 3 assists for her. That set an All-America record for points in a game, and the South's 25 goals also broke the record. Total of 17 that was set in 2010. So they were lighting up that scoreboard.
I think Corinne Etchinson was another player who set a single-game Under Armour record. It was just 25 goals in any game. You're going to have some scoring records broken.
Alex Joyce with a save. 8-4 South, second quarter. A little over 5 minutes to play in the half.
Cummings, by all accounts, the #1 recruit heading into the collegiate ranks next year. She'll play for Kathy Reese down at College Park. The Terrapins losers in this year's national semifinal to Northwestern. So the Terps looking to get back to the promised land.
And we'll visit with her at halftime. South's dominated the second quarter here. They've outscored the North 5-1. They were tied at 3 after 1. Thigh gives it up. Nice move there. Left-hand shot wide of the mark.
One player we haven't talked about a lot is number 3 in white, Case Mathias, an attackman out of Darien, headed to Duke University. He is arguably the #1 recruit heading into the collegiate ranks next year. Little banged up. Wasn't expected to play. It's great to see him out there, but he's had some injury issues giving it a go here tonight.
And Mark, we should point out that there were a few other players selected All-Americans, but they're involved in the representing the USA in the under-19
tournament. A couple years ago, we had some guys that missed this game due to that commitment. Steele Stanwyck amongst them, and had a pretty good college career.
Yeah,
so
he's a pretty good player, isn't he? Heard something about him. Battle for a ground ball. North wins the battle. North could use a little spark here. It's been going the South's way. 3:58 left in the half.
Yeah, you mentioned some of those kids, Scott. Michael Tagliafieri out of California. He's headed to North Carolina. Matt Florence headed to the University of Virginia. And Brent Armstrong out of St. Stephen's and Agnes, another Carolina-bound player. They are all missing this game due to their under-19 U.S. commitment.
Good drive to the cage there, and Dwyer has his second goal.
Devin Dwyer out of Garden City, New York. Garden City High School. He'll go to Harvard. Nifty move underneath. Dives away from the crease. Very smart play by Devin Dwyer. Gets inside of his man. No potential dive violation. When you mention Jeff Cohen graduated from Harvard this past spring, Devin Dwyer, a great Dodger, joining some of those talent.
Explain the rule on the dive.
Can't leave your feet. Can't leave your feet voluntarily and land in the crease. By diving away from the goal, he stays out of the crease, stays out of harm's way.
A little different from the pro game, right? Where
you're going to see
guys
diving,
flying.
jumping over the goal, into the goal, around the goal.
And I think there's a good reason for the rule, right? It's a
there
safety
is.
issue.
I'd like to see the dive come back. I was actually officiating a high school tournament earlier today, and a guy had a beautiful dive from behind the goal. It's no goal in the crease because he voluntarily went in on his own, but it's a beautiful play. The kamikaze moves are kind of gone that you had that mandated that rule. Guys going it, just diving to the goal at goalie's knees, and more it's more the guys coming across the face of the goal and diving from behind to get in front. And then typically those plays are away from the goalie.
Case Mathias with the behind the back shot. Hustle for the ground ball. Rake back into play. Nice job.
Yeah, there we see Mathias. I mistakenly said he's in white. He's in a man in black tonight.
Yeah.
And just a really slick player headed to Duke University. Reminds me a little bit of Jordan Wolf, another small little water bug they have down there, second-team All-American.
Edmund shot wide. 2.5 minutes to play, first half.
There we get a good look at Mathias. Talk about a smaller player, 5'6".
ESPNU brings you the most elite high school football talent via the opening. The country's top high school football players are put to the test through coaching, training, and competition at every position in this invite-only camp. Do these players have what it takes to get open? The opening, July 6th through the 8th at 8 on ESPNU.
There we get a good look at that south bench from the ground up. The assistants for Ryan Boyle tonight, Damian Davis, another fellow Princeton graduate, teammates of Boyle at Princeton, All-American. And the only fly in the orbit, Grant Catalino.
How did he get in there?
Out of Maryland.
Yeah.
I tell you, I brought
a terp with all those Princeton Tigers.
I brought my kids down yesterday and a couple of their buddies to watch the underclass games, and Catalino had them mesmerized. 6'5".
What a nice defensive play that was.
Catalino having an outstanding pro career right now for the Long Island Lizards.
That was Evan Connell on that strip.
Nice hustle.
A little floor burn there, a little rug burn.
That's Ryan Lehman out of Garnet Valley High School, another future Maryland Terrapin. Excellent hustle, selling out, keeping the ball in bounds.
Tell you what, Bradley Lord's been impressive too with his quickness, battling for ground balls.
Right now, no one from the north is really standing out to me. 3 players from the south that I've been really impressed with. Kelton Black, Tommy Forsberg. Forsberg is from the north. He has impressed me. But Miles Thomas, the long stick midfielder from the south, also impressive so far this evening.
Sam Rohr getting plenty of attention.
I'll get it right by the end of the broadcast. The white, black,
hey, we haven't
north,
had a lot
south.
of time to spend with these guys, Dixie. Here's a bouncer wide of the mark. Did have lunch with him yesterday, right? Wouldn't miss that.
Tell you, it was efficient this year. Normally,
the barbecue was good. The drinks were cold.
Those kids were in and out quickly. Corrigan Sports doing a great job putting this event on. I know we'll talk to Lee Corrigan later on in this broadcast, but some weather challenges for those guys. That storm kind of knocked their operation out. They were out here 2, 3 o'clock this morning getting things organized for their day.
Lord from behind the cage. Here comes the double team. Pretty aggressive defense there. That's Duvniak. That's why he's one of the best. You can see left-hander shot and a score. Nice move there. Sam Rohr found some space and whistled the left-hander home.
Rohr out of the Haverford School. Look at the quickness. Can't go for the head fake. Watch the jersey. Rohr gets inside of the defense. Nice split. And look at the shot placement. Offside shoulder. Marino stepping to his right. He puts it to the left. Rohr will join Coach Mike Murphy up in Philadelphia next year. He's headed to the University of Pennsylvania.
Another multi-sport guy, Dixie. Going to major in engineering there, but he played hockey and soccer as well as lacrosse in high school. 5'6", 155 pounds. You don't have to be 230 to play this game.
No. But if you are a little smaller, it really helps to have quickness like Rohr just demonstrated.
Yeah, that small and slow will never get you there. I know that one. 20 seconds left. We got a timeout. There's Rohr. Big heart and a lot of quickness, making an impact in this game. I'm sure he'll make an impact when he heads to Penn. Let's take a look at some of the MVPs in this game since it started in 2006, Mark.
You'll see a Canadian, Garrett Ince, in 2007. 2 goalies, Restivo and Bobby Wardwell. Chris LaPierre, they call him the Shocker, and his teammate Mark Cockerton, another Canadian, took home honors. So,
and all those players, look at the schools, all,
top-notch schools,
dominant D1 schools. Yeah,
LaPierre, primarily a defensive midfielder down in Charlottesville, second-team All-American in 2012 for Coach Dom Starship. Wardwell, they wanted to redshirt him, but he duty called, and he played a lot for Syracuse this past spring.
We talked about the Conestoga High School contingent that's here, and they are well represented.
You got the Conestoga 4 on the right side of your screen and the Calvert Hall 4 on the left. You've got Brad Lord, Connor Frazina, Jamie Ikeda, and Miles Thomas for Conestoga. And then you've got Ryan Brown, Patrick Kelly, Kelton Black, and Evan Connell. Would have helped if they were one was north, one was south.
That's half the team right there.
8 out of the 22 players from the south represented from Conestoga and Calvert Hall. They played early season. Conestoga beat the Cardinals. I believe that game was in Baltimore.
Okay.
I think it was a 1-goal game. But Conestoga had an excellent season. I think they finished 9th nationally. We'll look at the top 20 later in the broadcast. Calvert Hall finished 2nd nationally according to their voters.
Final seconds now, the first half. Where is it? Got to do something quick here. 6 seconds. Had a chance if that pass clicked.
Alligator arm ground ball.
And there's the horn to end the first half. Good second quarter for the South after a 3-3 tie after one. They've opened up a 9-5 lead. We'll return to Johnny Unitas Stadium on the campus of Towson University right after this. This is the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic. We're at halftime. South leads the North 9-5. We go down to the field where we're joined by Booker Corrigan.
Joined here by Taylor Cummings, the MVP of the girls' game earlier today. Taylor, 5 goals, 3 assists. That makes it easy to choose the MVP. Tell us about the action in the game tonight.
It was definitely a team effort today. Everyone worked so well together, even after only having, I think, 2 hours of practice. So, we moved the ball, we cut, we fed each other, and I think that's what made us so successful, and that's what made us look like a great team tonight.
And one of your former high school teammates, Corinne Edgerton, played a great game as well.
Yeah, she had a fabulous game. Corinne is always an awesome feeder, so she had 5 assists today, and I expected nothing less. She's awesome.
And she can make the shots, and she also those nifty little inside feeds.
Yeah.
So it's great to see that. Now you're headed to University of Maryland. You feel some pressure to find a way to assimilate into such a predominant program?
Maryland's a top program, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. I'm just looking forward to getting down to College Park and working out with the girls and meeting them and finding my role on the team, whatever it is.
And now, one of the themes for tonight has also been the multi-sport athlete. You've done a number of sports in your high school career. Tell us about the effects of those and how great it was as an experience.
It was definitely an awesome experience to play soccer, basketball, and lacrosse at McDonough. I think it taught me different things that would help me apply it to lacrosse. definitely the footwork in basketball and then the conditioning in soccer were definitely helpful. But it taught me to be a good team player, and it taught me to work well with others. So I'll definitely carry that with me throughout my life.
It's great to see Taylor Cummings combining with her former high school teammate. Taylor walks with the MVP trophy. Big night, 5 goals, 3 assists. Scott, let's go back up to you in the booth.
All right, thank you, Booker, and congratulations to Taylor. I'm sure they're anxious to see her do her thing at College Park.
Well, McDonough, such an outstanding program, undefeated this year, and she's heading down to Maryland to try to get the Terps back into that national championship arena.
South leads the North 9-5 at halftime. We'll return to Johnny Unitas Stadium right after this.
What has 4 legs and is always ready to run? The Baltimore 10 Miler. The June 6th Baltimore 10 Miler will once again be live on WMAR2 News. It always has the best post-race party of the summer, featuring a Jimmy Buffett cover band and Under Armour Premium. And new this year, the 2-person relay. Start and finish at the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore, and wait until you see the elephant-themed finishers medals. Go to baltimore10miler.com and register now.
South leads the North 9-5. We're at halftime here of the 2012 Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic. North leads the all-time series 4-2. Let's take a look at some of our first half highlights. South got on the board first, Mark.
Yeah, it didn't take long. Spencer Parks pulling up. Nice shot right there. That was after Ryan Brown had scored an extra man goal for the South.
And then the North answered.
Ian Ardrey out of Deerfield Academy up in New England. A little sweep shot establishes some position, some space, and gets the North on the board. Bradley Lord then coming around the goal. Gets away with a little bit of a ward, but he'll take that down to College Park out of Conestoga High School. Bradley Lord with his first of the evening.
Nice goal here.
Impressive. Tommy Forsberg, excellent ground ball. Gets it down to Doctor, who deposits it in the South goal.
It was 3-3 after one, and then South took control in the second quarter.
It's the Olympic trials. Connor Reed, look at the breaststroke, the freestyle. He swims through the North defense, finds Ryan Brown. Brown with his second of the evening. Charlie Schneider then inside to Deemer Class. Class with his first marker of the evening, and the South at this point is rolling.
Yeah, North needed something. They got something from West here.
Yeah, Henry West, nice dodge on the run. Kind of fooled the goalie, Alex Joyce, right there. West with the marker.
Kelton Black then scored his second goal of the game.
Nice stutter step dodge, splits from right to left and shoots it past the North goalie. South offense looking impressive here in the first 30 minutes of action. And Devin Dwyer, Superman, flies in front of the goal, takes a shot to the back of the head, but he gets his name in the paper, scoring the goal and a date for the prom.
9-5 at the half. Some of the highlights.
Alex Joyce, 7 saves. Kind of tough to, until you look at the stat sheet, to really highlight goaltenders, but Joyce really with some nice saves. The North showing some balance, 5 different goal scorers. And the Calvert Hall connection, Black and Brown with 2 apiece for the South.
Every athlete receives a commemorative medal. They're all from the 2013 through 2015 graduating classes. 3,500 total kids registered for tryouts. New England boys tryouts had more than 300 sign up. The 3-day Under Armour Underclass Elite Stars Tournament had 20 boys and girls teams from 10 different regions in the United States. Nearly 36 of this year's Senior All-American boys and girls were participating last year as a member of their region's underclass team. 500 kids total played this weekend here. At the Long Island boys tryouts, there were more than 100 coaches on the sideline recruiting. And I guess, Mark, they're not recruiting as much here because these kids are all committed, but those underclass games, there's coaches everywhere.
They were lining the field up and down, and it's not over. Tomorrow, the girls and boys both resume bright and early, and tomorrow are the championship rounds. So if you're around this area, come on down and check out some great high school lacrosse.
9-5 at the half. We'll return with second half action to Johnny Unitas Stadium here for the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic. This is the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic. Let's take a look at the Under Armour High School Power Rankings. Mark, you referred to this a couple of times in the first half.
Garden City is your quote-unquote national champion. We're seeing many of the Garden City players in this game. Calvert Hall, number 2, MIAA champions. And you got West Islip, Gonzaga winning that DC Catholic League Conference. St. Anne's down there, Salisbury School, Deerfield, Haverford, Conestoga, Chaminade out of Long Island. That's your top 10. Look at the bottom 10. Irondequoit in there. Loyola Blakefield lost in the MIAA championship to Calvert Hall. Darien, Connecticut, Case Mathias representing the Blue Wave here tonight. La Costa Canyon, California, 22-1. So some outstanding high school lacrosse programs. And there's your Under Armour Inside Lacrosse. The final top 20, Scott. You can rest easy now. It's been decided.
Well, yeah, you mentioned Calvert Hall up there, and they're having a pretty good night here as they have the only multiple goal scorers in this game, and Kelton Black and Ryan Brown, 2 Calvert Hall products that each have 2 goals here in the first half.
Yeah, and really, you know, the top 20, it is what it is. You play who's in front of you. You don't really have a national tournament to determine a national champion, so to speak, but these programs, outstanding lacrosse players, great coaches behind these programs. And
our man down on the sidelines is Booker Corrigan. He's enjoying the heat down there tonight.
Definitely enjoying the heat. Joined by John Hess. Great honor for you to be with Jesse Hubbard, Chris Massey, one of the great attack units of all time back in the Princeton days.
Yeah, well, you know, these types of games, you know, trying to figure out how to play together. Everyone's a star. That's one thing that we did well. We got out of each other's way. That's something we were preaching just now at halftime. Be a role player, and that's something we had a feeder, a dodger, and a shooter, and that's what we did well, and that's where we had success.
And you're referencing those Princeton teams, 96, 97, 98, three-peat. Gotta love being together with these 3 guys again.
Yeah, I mean, we're teammates, and we'll always be teammates. Teammates and best friends, and now we're doing it on the sidelines again.
Back up to you, Scott and Mark in the booth.
All right, Booker. Feeder, dodger, and a scorer. That sounds pretty simple.
Tremendous. Jesse Hubbard, 96 national championship game, scored the game winner in overtime against the University of Virginia. And our hearts go out to Chris Sanderson's family. Chris Sanderson was a starting goaltender for Virginia on that occasion. Just passed away this past week, brain cancer. A goalie for Team Canada. Just an outstanding spirit, great player, but an even better person. So our condolences go to the Sanderson family. But those Princeton attackmen, Scott, they were ones for the ages. They rewrote the record books for college lacrosse.
Mathai running upfield like a fullback. Head down and don't get in my way.
6'6". Headed to the University of North Carolina.
See the determination. Who's coming out of there. It's tied at 3 after the first quarter. South with a 9-5 lead as we start the second half. South in possession in the light jerseys. North in the dark. North leads the Young series here 4-2, but the South won last year and they've won 2 out of the last 3. It's Patrick Kelly, double team now on him. Whoops.
That's some fundamental lacrosse right there. Just a simple poke check disrupted the feeding pattern, and then the airmail.
There's Ryan Boyle.
Ryan Boyle's dad, Darby Boyle, a longtime collegiate official. His uncle, the late Scott Boyle, a legend amongst NCAA referees. So Ryan is a, shall we say, very vocal, very knowledgeable of the rules.
Sammy Davis gives it up. North trying to strike first here in the second half. 44 top players in the country, 22 from the north, 22 from the south. And that's Luke Aaron, who's now in goal for the South. William Ryan on the other end. Luke Aaron out of Deerfield Academy, Great Falls, Virginia. And William Ryan, the North goalie. Good size for him, 6'4", 245.
That's a lot of goalie.
It is. He's out of Massachusetts, Avon Old Farms. And the South gets the first score here in the second half.
Quick restart. Deemer Class is heady. He gets inside of the North defense, takes a feed, and Class 2 goals, all from about a combined 4 yards. Just gets underneath of the defense, and nothing the goaltender for the North can do in that situation. Ryan left, hung out to dry. William Ryan out of Avon Old Farms, he'll head to Johns Hopkins University. Luke Aaron via the Deerfield Academy headed to Duke in the fall.
So now Black, Brown, and Class with 2 goals.
All from the MIAA. Loyola.
Maybe we could get a white in there, black, brown, and white. Stick with the color scheme.
Nobody with the name of White in this year's game, Scott.
No, can't do that.
A couple years ago, we had Matt White. Remember Matt White, JoJo Marasco running up here to the booth asking if they could be on Sports Center.
We do have Dan Marino in the game, though. ESPNU brings you the most elite high school football talent via the opening. Country's top high school football players are put to the test through coaching, training, and competition at every position in this invite-only camp. Do these players have what it takes to get open? The opening, July 6th through the 8th at 8 on ESPNU. Bouncer wide right. 10-5, South on top of the North. Early second half here at Johnny Unitas Stadium.
Sam Rohr with that last shot, showing he is not bashful, taking the ball to the cage.
Some people might wonder nationally about Johnny Unitas Stadium here. We're in the Baltimore area, here in Baltimore County at Towson University. John actually went to school at Louisville, but children went to school here. He had a real good association with the university, and several years ago they named this stadium after him. He was here for the dedication.
Yeah, an absolute legend in the Baltimore area. Took a real affinity for the Towson athletic program, the Towson community. Never forget, 9/11/2002, when we lost John Unitas.
Later. Palasek running end to end and dives in front of the crease.
Talk about Baltimore sports legend, Scott. Tonight, the unveiling of the 7-foot statue of Earl Weaver.
Yeah, earlier today,
yards,
right? Yeah, had Earl on our radio show yesterday. Still great at, I think it's 82. Still has that fire in his belly.
How about Jake Mathai right there running the ball out of bounds in the sport of lacrosse? When you're closest to the sideline or end line, when and where the ball goes out of bounds, you win possession for your team. So Mathai saw his future coach Joe Bresci prior to coming on the air tonight. 8 Under Armour All-Americans represented, headed down to Chapel Hill. 7 foot tall, though, seems a little high for Earl.
Yeah, he grew a couple of feet.
I tell you, man, he used to make me laugh when I was younger. His arguments with the umpires, kicking
they're
dirt.
classic. Jim Palmer and he had some great sessions back and forth. Oh, nice goal there. The dive and just floating it out with the right hand.
Walker Kirby with the goal. He's out of Darien High School in Darien, Connecticut. He'll head to Cornell University. Ikeda with the crossfield pass and picked off by Kirby. And he just sticks it into the goal. It's an all-star game. I think they let him get away with a dive there, Scott.
Got a little crease there?
Hey, it's all right. Kirby, the long stick midfielder, headed to play in Ithaca, New York for Coach Ben DeLuca and the Cornell Big Red. Disappointing end to the 2012 campaign for Cornell. Lost their last regular season game to Princeton, and then they were knocked off by Yale in the Ivy League tournament.
North regains possession. They're down 4. Good communication that time. These guys starting to get to know each other. Well, the faces change, but the game doesn't change, right? If you're a good player, you know how to communicate with your teammates.
Yeah, no question.
Pannell nowhere to go. Pass in front behind the back shot is knocked down. That was Zach Wood with the wraparound.
Wood out of Aurora, Illinois, headed to the University of Virginia.
And the coaches were talking about his shot practice. They said he's got a cannon. You're right. Zach Wood is 6'3", 200 pounds. How about his season? 81 goals, 48 assists, 96 ground balls.
That's a career. Woo. He can light it up. When you talk about Virginia, that's a team, you lose Steele Stanwick, you lose Chris Bocklett on the attack, you lose Colin Briggs up at the midfield. Not a very deep Cavalier team, but a very talented one. And I think this infusion of young talent will be a real shot in the arm for Dom Starship and his Cavaliers. Well, both of them saved it, but they left it for the South guy.
They lost.
Gift wrap. Kelton Black picks up the
equipment and sailed out of bounds about 10 yards.
A great hustle by Pannell and Walker Kirby.
Look out, South right on front. Good opportunity there. North dodged a bullet. From the wing, a left-hand bullet, and a nice save.
Popcorn.
Let's go down to the sidelines and join Booker.
Joined by Evan Connell, future North Carolina Tar Heel. Talk about 8 North Carolina Tar Heels in this game tonight, Evan.
It's amazing. I mean, all of us are so proud of all of us, each other, and it's just exciting to be out here with a bunch of my friends. We're going to have so much fun the next 4 years and hopefully win a few national championships.
And you guys rolled into town Thursday night. Have you guys been hanging out exclusively, or have you been welcoming some of the Hopkins and Virginia guys into the fold as well?
We've been welcoming them all in. We love each other. It's a great bond. Most of us have all played together North and South. I'm really good friends with Bobby and Case, and then I know a lot of people are friends with the Haverford and Conestoga kids. So it's just a good group of kids, and we're all just out here having a lot of fun and great friends.
Evan Connell, MIAA champion this year with Calvert Hall, and hoping to pull one out tonight for the South. He's doing some coaching here on the sideline when he's not in. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Booker. Mark, you grew up with it. It's a community, right? Everybody pretty much knows everybody or knows somebody who knows that person, right?
And I tell you, since I played, which was ages ago, the bonds are even tighter with club lacrosse and tournaments and things of that nature. These kids really get to know each other very, very well. Evan Connell is a nasty takeaway, lockdown defender. He mentioned winning a couple national titles down at North Carolina. I tell you, that's a team that everybody's waiting to take that next step, to get back to championship weekend and to get back into that championship contention. Back when I was in high school and in college, North Carolina, you could etch their name in every single year for championship weekend. Haven't been to the big stage since 1993.
North down 4 goals with possession. Low left-hander sails through. That was Mikey Morris, right? Yeah, Morris. He'll drop down. Headed to Hopkins,
that Canadian stick work, that Canadian quick hands.
This is Parks. About 6.5 minutes left, third quarter. Scott Garceau, Mark Dixon with you. It is the 2012 Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic from Johnny Unitas Stadium on the campus of Towson University. North leads this all-time series 4-2, but the South, they won last year, and they've won 2 out of the last 3. Charlie Schneider, running left-hander and a save.
I think that one got the pipe there, Scott.
Oh, was it pipe? Okay.
Beautiful placement.
I just saw the jab with the arm on the goalie.
Like I said, all-star game, you give him the save.
Sammy Davis across midfield.
Been impressed with Snyder. That's his really first shot opportunity of the evening and just missed his first marker, but he's had several key ground balls, and he does have an assist this evening. He's a hustler between the lines. He's headed to Ohio State.
That one's wide of the mark. Game keeps growing. Big Ten might be able to come up with a conference. Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State.
Yep.
Get
and
one more in there, right?
Absolutely. Well, Michigan State, of course, was a varsity sport up until the early 90s when they dropped.
Northwestern, of course, has the great
women's
power on the women's side. An area of growth for the game. It's growing everywhere, but the Midwest certainly.
And the Midwest is a place with a lot of football players electing to play the sport.
Didn't have the best angle, but a little shake and bake, and Jake Froccaro with the score.
We mentioned Jake Froccaro's older brother, Jeff. So versatile, takes face-offs, plays attack, a little midfield for Coach Chris Bates up at Princeton. Unselfish play, beautiful look down below. And that's Zach Wood on the assist. Jake Froccaro with the finish. He'll head up to Princeton University, an outstanding finisher. Froccaro with 62 goals this year for Paul Schreiber High School out of Sands Point, New York, and 170 ground balls.
My gosh, it's a vacuum. Here comes the North. They're down just 3, rallying, and now make it 2. So right off the face-off, they dissect the defense, and suddenly it's a 2-goal game.
We'll take
Starts
this
at the X, right?
Take it right from the face-off. Wood, after the assist, is able to corral the loose ball. Comes down, tic-tac-toe lacrosse. Beautiful look from Case Mathias down to Devin Dwyer. Dwyer with his second of the evening. Duke to Harvard.
Those goals 10 seconds apart for Caro and then Dwyer. And suddenly the lead cut to 2. Good ground ball battle here. They're getting after it.
Well, the North right now has won the last 3 face-offs. They dominated the face-offs in the first half of action, unable to capitalize on those extra possessions. But over the last couple of minutes, they've made them count.
And Dixie, that's the one area, talking to the coaches yesterday, they said, we're not sure. You know, you got all these all-stars, but really no face-off specialists.
Yeah.
So we'll try a couple guys. A couple guys volunteered. Right now, North getting the best. Oh, great defensive play there, the strip.
That's Evan Connell. Just
made it look easy.
The lunch money of one of those North attackmen.
Anything gets me mad, it's when they take my lunch money, Mark.
Sam Rohr's going to the goal. Newsflash.
We'll bring it up top. So now the North with 3 goals unanswered. Deemer Class started the third quarter with a goal for the South, and then the North 3 in a row. Kirby, Froccaro, and Dwyer.
It's been a few minutes since the South has had the ball on offense. Let's see what they come out with. Spencer Parks inverting.
Oh. I wasn't sure he controlled it, but it's in the back of the net, Mark. Nice play there. That's Kerber, right?
Gordy Kerber, his second of the evening. Here we're going to see Spencer Parks' versatility. He played both midfield and attack for Rick Picotto at St. Paul's. Just a little stutter step dodge. And there we see Kerber. This is what he does best.
Wow.
Finding open spaces in tight
backhander.
quarters against opposing defenses. Excellent control. Gets the ball down and is able to flick it by William Ryan. Kerber again headed to the University of Denver to play for the Pioneers. How about that face-off? Jake Froccaro, it's almost like he had the ball on his stick to begin with.
Left-hander wide of the mark. It's Mathias. 3-goal lead for the South.
Look at the disparity in face-offs. The North dominating at 16-5.
Usually that would mean more goals on the North side of the scoreboard.
Alex Joyce, 7 saves in the first half.
Yeah.
There's one right there.
Nice job by Luke Aaron. Luke Aaron, his goals against average this year, 5.15.
Impressive.
That'll win most games for you. Nice clear. Here comes the North. About 2.5 minutes left to play, third quarter. The best 44 in the nation. The Under Armour All-Americans here. 22 from the South, 22 from the North, 11 states and Canada represented in this game. Woo! That one had a little mustard on it.
I think it's still traveling. Watch out, the window's over at Shepherd Pratt.
West sent it west. Davis trying to get a step behind the cage. West up top. Dodges right, fires wide left.
A lot of missed shots tonight for the North.
Let's go down to the field. Booker Corrigan joins us.
Joined on the sideline by Zach Powers out of Upper Arlington High School. Great tradition in this game. A lot of guys have come from UA and played in the Under Armour game. But let's talk the story about your father getting blown out of a bleacher stand and Dr. Olson really stepping in to save him.
Yeah, my sophomore year, he got blown off the stands in a state semi game. And he was paralyzed for 10 minutes or so. But people came to his side, Doc Olson especially. And he ended up getting his feeling back. And he's got a bunch of hardware in his neck right now. But he's living up. It's all good, so it's no problem.
And when you say hardware, I've seen the x-rays. That's like a little hardware drawer that he has holding it.
It's pretty big. I don't know. It's about this much in his neck. It's pretty legit. I don't know. I wouldn't want it mine, so I don't know.
I was thrilled to see how well he's doing. Scott, back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, thank you, Booker. Upper Arlington, whenever we hear players from there, often they're defensive players. They've had a tradition on defense.
Mark Kuntz is the name that jumps out at me, early 2000s at the University of Virginia. But really, Upper Arlington, the Bears, that's a hotbed, turning into a hotbed. Zach Powers, no different.
They play a little tough football in that part of the country,
Absolutely.
too, so that'll help you play defense.
Steve Dussault, National Player of the Year out of Georgetown, again, back in the 2000s, another Upper Arlington product.
Final seconds, third quarter. North in possession, down 3. Matthias. Swim move. Heavy traffic there. Couple of changes here as they try to get some fresh legs on the field. These guys will sleep pretty good tonight. Cooled off some, but humid. Temperature up near 100 earlier today. Cooled off a little here this evening. They practice over 100 degrees on Friday. Down to 10 seconds. Shot wide left from Zach Wood. And the South will be content just to run it out here, I think. Clock's not moving. Now it just jumped to 50 seconds. I think they got some clock issues. Were you in charge of the clock?
Not me.
Okay. We'll have to ask Lee Corrigan about that. He just made his way up the steps and he's breathing heavily. They blow the whistle. That's going to be the quarter, I believe.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Clock wasn't working, but common sense was, right? All right, we played 3. South on top, 11-8. Back with the fourth quarter of the 2012 Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic.
The Maryland Rough Riders draw the top talent from the entire Mid-Atlantic region. They're backed by over a decade of high-level club lacrosse coaching, player development, and player recruitment assistance. Our Rough Rider alumni have excelled at every level in college lacrosse.
Playing for the Maryland Rough Riders, when we got together, we always wanted to beat the top teams. We always had a chip on our shoulder. Every kid on that team could honestly say over the last 5-6 years since they've stopped playing Rough Riders that mindset of having a chip on your shoulder has helped them not only on the field but in life. So in terms of me being an under-recruited kid who got an opportunity to play Division I lacrosse, I tried to make the most of it, and I've been fortunate enough to get where I am because of that.
Ward to the goal, scores! If I was a high school lacrosse player right now, I'd definitely try out the Rough Riders. It goes far beyond the lacrosse. It really helps you prepare for the next step when playing in college. As far as the practices are concerned, you're going to have those college level practices which really help you ramp up, connect with coaches, and not only that, but respect your peers and play at a high level.
Let us show you how we work to get the most out of every player through clinics, tournaments, and provide a great experience for club lacrosse players. We are the right organization for your son to become the best possible version of himself. The Rough Rider Lacrosse Club. There's a reason it's called the Rough Rider Nation.
ESPNU's coverage of the 2012 Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic is brought to you by Under Armour. This is your armor. Beware of imposters. All right, here are some numbers through three quarters, Mr. Dixon. What do you see?
I see a lot of shots by the North. I see a lot of saves by the South.
How about those face-offs?
The face-offs, the North are dominating, but they missed a lot of shots, particularly in that third quarter. Again, they start with possession, winning the face-off.
And we welcome in the founder of this game and the hardest working man in the Baltimore area for about at least 24 hours and most of the week. But that storm that came through the area last night didn't do you any favors.
Oh, yeah, man. It really tested the crew. You know, the guys from Corrigan Sports and Under Armour did a great job putting Humpty Dumpty back together again. Yeah. We lost about 20 tenths. But I got to tell you, my son and a bunch of my kids, my former players came and helped me out.
You called in all your chips, right?
I did. Oh, Coach Corrigan, needs help. So they showed up at the warehouse, and they came through, and we got it all put together and ready to go today.
Hey, Booker's down on the sidelines. We've talked to several of the players and interviewed them, and you can see that they are thrilled to be an Under Armour All-American and everything that goes with this event that you founded, 7 years ago now?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's really first class. You know, having a partner like Under Armour on this thing just makes it so special, and the kids are so excited about the gear. And now with their equipment coming out, and they've really cracked the code. The kids really like the sticks, and so that's exciting for them, of course.
And of course, the senior All-American games on the boys and girls side. This is really the showcase of the weekend, but you guys are really busy with a lot of other things. The underclass events this year, hot and heavy.
Those underclass games that are going on all weekend long. Uh-oh, here we go. Oh,
that was one. Bradley Lord turning the corner.
Yeah, the underclass games are certainly become a highlight of this event. They happen all weekend long, and it really features teams from all over the country coming to Baltimore, these underclass elite athletes representing the region, and there's a lot of competitive angst there, and guys want to prove that they have the best teams, you know, from the Philadelphia area or the Baltimore or the West, whatever it may be. Our Baltimore boys are holding up very well here, and
I think three area guys with multiple goals in this game. So,
yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
One other thing, I know you go out of your way to say you don't pick them, right? So don't call me
exactly.
or text me and ask me why my son isn't in the game.
Yes, people kind of test the waters there with Under Armour and us, and we always love to pass that buck off to the guys at Inside Lacrosse, and those guys do a great job. Jeff Shannon and John Gelati and Bob Carpenter, Andy Biel, all those guys do such a wonderful job for us. And it's never perfect, as I say. It's always difficult, but you know what? It's always really close, and you don't really have to look too far to see all the success of the Under Armour All-Americans at the collegiate level.
Well, Mark's been pointing out past Tewaaraton Award winners, every major award. Last year, Mark, you went through that list, had played in this game, so you're getting it right a lot more times than you're missing.
Exactly.
Interesting twist this year, Lee. Ryan Boyle, Jesse Hubbard, active players or MLL legends, college legends. How did you guys decide to get away from the traditional high school coach and have guys like this coach the program, coach the teams?
Really wanted to mix it up, and the kids. We heard a lot of feedback from the kids, and the kids are really interested in having those kinds of guys coach them. And I'll tell you what, I was in the locker room with Ryan at halftime, and he was having a ball with the kids. Him and Grant Catalino are characters, no doubt, and I think the kids are getting a kick of hanging out with them because those guys are probably our heroes.
Sure, yeah. 11-8 our score, a little over 13 minutes to play, fourth quarter. Scott Garceau, Mark Dixon, and Lee Corrigan, the founder of this event, here at Johnny Unitas Stadium.
Corrigan Sports, we know the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic, but you guys run a lot more events here in the Baltimore area as well as nationwide. What are some things we can look forward to?
Well, the Under Armour Baltimore Marathon, of course, is our cornerstone event. We started that 12 years ago, and that thing has just exploded. 25,000 participants, $30 million of economic impact. It's just been great.
I think I saw Scott out there last year.
Speedy Scott.
Yeah, it may not have been me. And there's another goal for the North, so we're tightening things up a little bit.
Yeah, this is getting interesting. After it looked like the South boys were going to run away with this thing, it's getting tight.
It's Mikey Morris, the lefty Canadian, sets his feet, time and room, and is able to whip it past Luke Brown. Morris, look at the torque, look at the velocity and the placement of that shot. Another off-ball guy joining the ranks of that Johns Hopkins University attack unit.
Yeah, those Canadians, they know how to get it in the goal. They got great hands, and they certainly do it at every level.
And Lee, the show's not over with this game tonight. There's more tomorrow, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
We got the underclassmen. We have the last games of the underclassmen schedule. Then we have the playoffs, and that looks like it's shaping up very interesting. There's a lot of teams still in it. There's a lot of coaches asking me tiebreaker rules, so there's a lot of guys getting to bed early tonight.
What kind of precautions have you taken with the heat wave we've had? Temperatures over 100 degrees, games in the day. This isn't bad tonight, but some of your day games, I know you had a double practice for the Under Armour All-Americans on Friday on a warm day.
That's a very good question. That was something that was really concerning to us. Our partner is Union Memorial, of course, sports medicine. We love those guys. And one of the things we talked about was mandatory water breaks halfway through each quarter. And so I think that was a very good, smart precaution that we made. Then we had a lot of trainers out there reminding the boys to hydrate, reminding them to hydrate. And we were also prepared to shorten the games actually at one point, but we pulled the plug on that.
I can speak to that. Had the opportunity to ref one of the underclassmen games this morning, and no, I had the water breaks and just the competition, and the coaches are here to coach the kids. And I don't mean to sound flip about that, but as an official, it's wonderful to come to an event and be able to officiate and not have to put up with a lot of some other things that you put up with at other tournaments.
Right. These guys are here to win, and they certainly are impressed, Once again, back to Under Armour. Those teams come from these 10 different respective regions around the country, and they are treated to an unbelievable first-class event. The fields are wonderful here at Towson University. The equipment that Under Armour, in terms of the gear and the uniforms and all that stuff is first class. And, of course, I like to think that we do a good job putting the show on and setting the fields up and making sure everybody knows where they're going.
One other thing before we let you go, you deliver a little message with this thing, too, and I guess that message is delivered every year at the banquet. Tim Strachan last night.
That was really a special moment, Scott, and I'm glad you brought it up. One of the things we try to do is we try to always have a guest speaker who is an impactful fella. And over the years, we've had the real-life hero of Black Hawk Down, Matt Eversman. We had a guy by the name of Chad Fleming who spent a lot of the last 5 years, 10 years chasing Osama bin Laden around the world. And last night, we had Tim Strachan. And what a story he was. He was the #1 ranked quarterback in the country, right in front of a guy by the name of Peyton Manning, by the way. And, of course, he broke his neck in a tragic accident when he dove into the ocean. And he managed to pull through it. And, although
inspirational story. What
he's
a guy.
in a wheelchair, but my God, he's accomplished so much, and it's a great story for these kids to hear.
Nice message to deliver. Lee, congratulations on another great show. We enjoy this every year, being a part of this.
Thank you very much, guys. You guys are
and if
wonderful.
you ever need anybody to put up a tent, Mark Dixon, I heard, is one of the best.
You guys are on speed dial.
Lee Corrigan, the founder of the event, and a busy man. Boy, that storm came through here last night and knocked down trees and tents and a whole bunch of things.
I can attest. I was talking to Ryan Heacock and Dave Gell, both of Corrigan Sports, and their crew was out 2, 3 o'clock in the morning getting things ready for 8 o'clock face-off this morning with the underclass games, and they've just done a terrific job with this event. Soup to nuts.
And we got a 2-goal game here, 11-9, about 9.5 minutes to play. North won't go away. Every time it looks like they're in a little trouble, they get a goal or two and keep this thing interesting. South in possession right now, up 2. They'll maintain possession there. Got it backed up. It was Bradley Lord. Lord goal line extended, now back behind the cage. Let's go down to the field and join Booker.
Here with slick Sammy Rohr from Hereford School. That school has a great tradition of involvement in this tournament. In years past, it's been the Maryland Rough Riders that have excelled at getting players into the game. This year, your club, Mesa Fresh, 7 out of the 8 Philly kids played for that team. You got to bring a cohesive unit when you have all those guys.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We've been playing together for as long as I can remember. Like Brad Lord, who consistently logs on to www.istingcorners.com. I've been playing with him since I was in kindergarten, and along with all the other Stoga kids, and Will McNamara, who's been my Haverford teammate forever, and then finish off with Ryan Lehman, who's the incredible Garnet Valley defender. So we've been playing together for before Mesa, and then when we came together in high school, we had a lot of fun playing Mesa ball throughout the years.
And that club scene permeates throughout the North roster. You get to see a lot of these guys all year long in those fall tournaments and as well as the summer tournaments.
Yeah, that's the fun about lacrosse is that you come into these all-star events and a lot of the guys already. Like we've played Long Island Express. We had a great battle with Long Island Express last year up in a tournament at Episcopal Academy, and then a lot of these guys on my team are on the Crabs and Lax World, who we've played time and time again. And you see them all over the place, and we came into this knowing that we had a good unit on the field.
And the club lacrosse scene growing and growing, and you're hearing it right here from Sammy Rohr from Hereford School. He's headed to University of Pennsylvania. Keep an eye on him for the next 4 years. Back up to Scott and Mark in the booth.
All right, Booker, 7.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. South on top of the North, 11-9. North with possession. Catch a little pipe.
I think that was a nice save. Beautiful save.
Got a piece, yeah. All right, we've got a timeout, 7:24 left in the game. South on top of the North, 11-9.
Outstanding high school lacrosse career. But when the kid touches the ball, he scores goals.
Say hello to Matt Rambo.
Look at the spin move. As Rambo steps in, sticks it.
Awesome. That was a good time.
Matt Rambo is just taking over.
Capping a historic year for the University of Maryland. Matt Rambo.
This is the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic. Scott Garceau, Mark Dixon with you from Towson University, where the South leads the North. 11-9, just a little over 7 minutes left to play in this one. So you play this game, and it's an exhibition, but it's a chance for you to showcase your stuff, and then you look at the clock, and there's 7 minutes left, and you got a 2-goal game, and does it change a little bit? Like, hey, let's win this thing.
Why not?
Yeah.
The competitive juices start to flow. This game has not been as physical as some of the last couple over years past. We had some real physical battles. 2009 really sticks out at me. Guys walking off with bruised wrists and scrapes, bumps, and other things. It's been a competitive game. It just hasn't been incredibly physical.
And as you say that, there's a couple of hits. Right. Maybe they heard you. Said Dixon doesn't think you guys are tough enough. We'll show him. Oh, little spin move there. I think if he gathered himself, That could have been a score, Mark.
Pannell.
Yeah.
With a little turnstile. It was a little
catch and release.
Pannell's been quiet tonight, but he is a terrific talent. We already mentioned steel stand with Chris Bachlet, graduating from Virginia. I have to anticipate Matt White will move down to play some attack next year for Coach Dom Starshin. Pannell's going to figure into that lineup some way, somehow.
Wow, good defense there. Tanner Scales just wouldn't give him any room.
Haven't mentioned Scales a lot tonight, but he's an impressive athlete out of Denver, Colorado, Regis Jesuit High School, future teammate of James Pannell. He'll head to Virginia and be a Cavalier.
Doctor couldn't find any space. Back on top. See the quickness there of Sam Linares. North maintains possession. They're down 2. Just under 6 minutes left to play. North leads the series 4-2, but South, they won last year and they've won 2 of the last 3.
If this lead holds up, they'll have win number 3 in the series. Every year on paper, the North looks better. They just do. They've got gaudy stats, the athletes, a little tougher maybe considered than the South, but South putting together an impressive performance tonight.
Pannell looks up front on the doorstep, finds his man, and there's the score, and the lead is cut to 1.
Jake Froccaro, his second off-ball goal of the evening. Pannell working against Scales, was able to roll back, get away from his pressure. Great vision, not terrible defense inside by Spencer Parks, but he gives up. Right there should have been a lift. You can see Parks disappointed in himself, but Froccaro finishes inside. His second goal of the evening, again, headed to Princeton University.
Well, when Deemer Class scored the first goal in the second half, South had a 10-5 lead. Since then, they've outscored them 5-1. Big ground ball here. Who wants it? Miles Thomas had it for a little bit, but the North controls. And now they've got a chance to tie. Pass in front, knocked down by the defense.
Now we got some stick swinging.
Yeah. Some clanging going on. Zach Wood up top with John Edmonds. North looking to tie it up here with about 4.5 minutes left in the game. Double team. Ball down. And the South with the takeaway.
Miles Thomas, another nice ground ball. He's made a couple really exceptional plays this evening. Look out.
Let's go down to the sidelines. Booker with Damian Davis.
Joined by assistant coach of the South team, Damian Davis, coaching alongside Ryan Boyle, with whom he played with at Gilman School and then matriculated on to Princeton. How's it feel to work with Ryan on this weekend endeavor?
It's great. So I work with him at Trilogy every once in a while, and it's good to get back with him right now for this one.
And how are you able to take some of the skills that you have as a defensive player and impart them onto these great stars of tomorrow in such a short time?
Trying to stay out of their way is more my style here. These guys are great, so kind of put them in an organized defense and then let them play.
Is there ever a chance where you say to somebody, hey, don't do that anymore?
I hold back different styles, and we have their coaches for next year take care of that. Every once in a while I'll make a little comment here and there, but mostly just hands off.
It's great to know that the wisdom of Damian Davis is being shared around the field. Scott, let's get back up to the booth to you.
All right, in the South,
Damian.
Spencer Parks gets it to Gordy Kerber, and he fires in the left-hander to stretch the lead back to 2.
Korber showing some range. His first 2 goals about 3-yard efforts. This one is time and room, and Korber with a worm burner. Great vision by Parks. Korber with the shot and the goal. The hat trick, his third of the evening.
First guy to 3. That's a big goal. Stretch the lead back to 2 with just over 3 minutes left. And now the South wins the faceoff. Pole to the goal. Bounces over the crossbar.
And in this day and age of early commitments, we're talking early like sophomores, that guy right there, Gordy Kerber, did not commit till the summer before his senior season to Denver University.
And Bill Tierney's glad he did, right?
Absolutely.
6'2", 200-pounder, played for Brooke Matthews, another multiple sport guy, also played soccer at Gilman. 2:52 to play. South leads 12-10. ESPN brings you the most elite high school football talent via the opening. Country's top high school football players are put to the test through coaching, training, and competition at every position in this invite-only camp. Do these players have what it takes to get open? The opening, July 6th through the 8th at 8 o'clock on ESPNU. 2:45 to play. North down 2 with possession. It was 3-3 after 1. South had a 9-5 lead at the half, and they were still up 11-8 after 3. North has never had a lead in this game. This is Linares. Davis through some heavy traffic with the left-hander. Backed up. Big ground ball here. Under 2 minutes left. Possession back to the North.
There's Forsberg with that loose ball attempt. Is able to keep it alive. Ball goes out of bounds off of White.
Okay, you going to draw one up here, Coach Dixon?
Dodge and go.
Dodge and go.
Draw the double, dump it.
Flag down.
Back check.
Going to have an extra man opportunity here for the North. We had an extra man goal, first goal of the game, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah,
Ryan Brown.
Yeah, Ryan Brown. I think that's it, right, as far as extra man goals.
It's been a clean game. Officiating crew of Scott Miller, Scott Rayburn, and Steve Burnham, keeping the boys under control. That was a no-brainer, right? That was a kidney shot. Back check right there.
So 6-on-5 for the North, and they'll have a chance to cut it to 1 if they can cash in on this extra man opportunity.
Shoot it.
You don't have much chance to work on special teams, do you? So what do you run here? Find somebody right there and score. Little backdoor special, Mikey Morris. And we've got a 1-goal game here with 1:28 left.
That was a slick look from Sam Linares. I'm saying shoot the ball because your point defender on you is Evan Connell. He's a lefty, and I thought he could have shot to the right of Connell. But Morris with the sneak backside, Linares with the bullet feed, and Mikey Morris, he'll be headed to Johns Hopkins, his second of the evening.
Yeah, both of those goals in the fourth quarter to kind of fuel this comeback for the North. They were down 10-5 here in the second half, and now they trail by just 1. And it's, I was going to say a face-off win for the North, not yet.
I was going to say it's a mugging at Michigan State, Michigan Field.
Say, is there a timeout in there somewhere? Might be a good chance to take one. As the South had possession, Bradley Lord came out of the pack with it. And the clock stops with 1:02 left. Let's check back in with Booker.
On the sideline here with Spencer Parks, playing a great game throughout the evening. We've already talked to you once. Let's talk about your commitment to North Carolina. It came rather early in the recruiting process. How confident were you when you committed to UNC?
I was pretty confident. I took a lot of visits and talked to my parents a lot, and my coaches, Coach Brock, and it just came down to the fact that I love the coaches there. You know, the atmosphere and all. It just kind of loved me, and I loved it.
And North Carolina now really the harvest of the 2012 Under Armour game. 8 guys headed down that way. You feel like you can really come in and make an impact right away?
Yeah, I hope so. You know, there's a lot of people that talented classes, and I think that we're going to be pretty good down the road.
Best of luck as the closing minutes dwindle off. A 1-goal game. You didn't think you'd be in this a little while ago, did you?
No.
You got to get it. You got to get it.
This is Will McNamara, injured. He wanted to be on. We couldn't get him on. We only could get him on CUDA this spring, but we got a little bit of him. So continue working hard. We can tell you're doing a great work out there. And give away all that stuff to the little kids who came to watch you tonight.
Right. Thank you.
Back up to you, Scott.
All right, Booker. Spencer Parks from Falston here in the area.
Give it away. You got to be out of your mind.
You're still looking for yours, aren't you, Dixie?
Well, you talk about North Carolina. The offensive cupboard is full. Talk about Marcus Holman, Joey Sankey, Jimmy Bitter. They need to play. They need some midfielders down in Chapel Hill, and I think Spencer Parks can fit that bill. They also need defensive help down there. That's a team that gave up a lot of goals in 2012. Need better goaltending out of Restivo, but they also need some better defenders. And Jordan Smith returns, and you got a guy like Evan Connell headed down there.
What's the Under Armour Classic overtime rule, Dixie?
Braveheart. Let's do Braveheart. 1-on-1 with goalies at each end. And 2 guys just duke it out. Full field.
We got a minute left. South with possession. They're protecting a 1-goal lead. You got to extend the defense here. And there's a flag.
I heard it.
Heard that hit. Yep. Now the North, if they're going to do this, they're going to do it shorthanded.
We still might not see what the Under Armour overtime rules are.
So 48 seconds left. Six on 5, and you got to do a lot of chasing now, down a man.
10 seconds to get it in. Once they get it in the box, they'll have to keep it in. And this is just going to be hot potato for the South. Wonder who the MVP is going to be. Kerber, 3 goals.
Had a nice game.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
There's the turnover.
They kept the clock running, too. Don't think the North didn't realize it. They lost about 3 seconds.
Scoreboard here in the stadium showing 23.4. We got 25 on our clock. North needs a goal to tie it up. They're down a man.
Put a couple seconds back on the clock at 27. Now here we go. The South has the luxury, if they choose to double the ball. That was a dangerous pass and a beautiful takeaway by Tanner Scales of the South.
Scales played a nice game defensively.
Timeout for the North.
With about clock still ran down a couple of seconds. I think they'll reset, probably get 10 on there. Game clock here at the stadium showing 8 seconds, but I think the one you've seen on the screen is a lot closer to 10. Jesse, if you got anything special, draw it up now, right?
John, personnel.
The clock out here says 11 seconds.
Looks like we'll have 11 on the clock.
Sammy? Okay. West and Portland. All right. And we're going to and we're just looking to seal down, right? Sammy.
Yeah. Who do you want to
seal down for? Sealing down for Mikey Morris coming up.
Who do you want to fill with the ball?
Let's go, let it fly. Let's go, let it fly.
Let's go.
Is that Sammy Davis looking for Mikey Morris? Is that what I heard?
Sammy Davis or Sam Linares, either way. They're going to be a man down, so it's got to be a quick move. Look for the double. South should probably double the ball right off the bat. Although Boyle may have some trickeration up his sleeve. Maybe hide the double on the crease and slide to the feet.
This is the way these games are supposed to end. A little drama in the final seconds. One of the lower scoring of the series in the Under Armour All-America Lacrosse Classic. 12-11, but we'll see what the North can do here in the final 11 seconds. We'll change Sammy Davis.
So it looks like Pannell's going to start with the ball. He is not being doubled. The double is on the crease.
Keep an eye on Morris, too.
Ryan Boyle has elected to put his free safety on the crease. Got to go.
Pannell looking, time running down. Tough angle, and the save made by Luke Aaron, and that's going to do it. So Aaron makes the save, and the South survives. After they jumped on top, it was 10-5 in the third quarter. North came all the way back and got it down to 1.
Better goaltending by the South gets them the win. Better face-off work kept the North in the game and allowed them to chip away and come back to give themselves an opportunity to tie it at the end. But Luke Aaron with a great save. James Pannell, not a great look, but not a bad look. It's
you got something on
kind of
page,
look you
right?
get when you have a final play drawn up and a hard-fought victory for the South.
Yeah, you're down a man too.
Absolutely.
So 12-11, the final score here as these Under Armour All-Americans say hello to each other, and congratulate themselves on a pretty good night's work here at Towson University. South edges the North, 12-11 the final score. Let's go down to Booker Corrigan, who has the MVP presentation.
It's time to name an MVP for the 2012 All-American Senior Classic. Who better than Julian Gary from Under Armour to join us here today? Julian, who do you have for the Under Armour All-American MVP?
Oh, man, you're going to butcher me there. Go ahead, say it. Just
Gordy Kerber.
Gordy Kerber.
Gordy Kerber from nearby Gilman School. Gordy, tremendous season all year long, and it culminated with an MVP choice tonight. What do you have to say about tonight's action?
I don't know. It was a great game, real back and forth. The North team played a great game, and, we're just lucky to get a win.
Team came together real well. You were able to get a gap there in the middle of the game. You extended away. Team chemistry have something to do with that. You guys are pretty close.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We were bonded really well in the hotel and just throughout the weekend, and I think we won some good ground balls in the middle of the field too. So
thrilled for Gordy Kerber. Did a great job all night long, never wilted, and in this heat, that's really saying something because there's opportunity to fade. So congratulations on the MVP of the Under Armour All-American 2012 game. I'm Booker Corrigan, tossing it back up to Scott Garceau in the booth.
All right, Booker, thank you. Hat trick for the local kid. What a thrill to come in and with all these All-Americans take that MVP home.
And again, a great story. A guy who was not committed this time last year as a rising senior, had a great summer in 2011, is headed to Denver, University of Denver, but really a great showcase tonight of the stars of tomorrow being shown here tonight.
Enjoyed it, Dixie. We'll be hearing
As
a lot
always
about these guys down the road, as you said. These are the college stars of tomorrow. Again, the final score here from Johnny Unitas Stadium. The South over the North, 12-11. Coming up next, World Cup of Softball, Australia against the United States. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Mark Dixon and Booker Corrigan, I'm Scott Garceau. So long from Towson, Maryland.